Blizzard are trolling you with Midnight UI settings. So the default sucks. I agree with this already. I mean, I didn't watch the video yet, but I will say the default UI did suck. Yesterday, I used some kind of... Wowhead added some articles on Blood DK UIs and best layouts. I linked that article in the chat for you guys. Had all the classes and kind of their best layouts created by some of the best people to play those classes in the game. That one worked out nice for me. I just clicked it, you know, uploaded that UI look, and I'm using just the basic shit from Blizzard, no add-ons, but I like the way it looked. I felt like it was a nice setup for Blood DK. So overall, the basic shit is, but if you play around with it enough, it does start to look better. Let's see what Bellular has to say about the base UI and why it's kind of freaking shit right now.
I'm just going to go out and say it. While they didn't mean to, Blizzard are in fact actively trolling you. You see, they slaved
away. Wait, Bellular trashed the Wowhead layouts I was talking about? Oh, God.
To make all these shiny new UI features, all to replace your add-ons, and honestly, they did a great job. Until, at the very last hurdle, they completely face-planted by giving you terrible default settings. And I do mean terrible, but that's okay. You can fix it, and today I am going to show you exactly how to do that. And no, the answer isn't to install add-ons. That's a lot of effort for a small gain, and frankly, it's a bit of a cop-out. I'm going to tell you exactly...
I agree, like a small gain, and why? Just why? They're adding this shit in the game, and like they're clearly going in a direction where they don't really want you to use add-ons anymore. So just don't fight it. Embrace it, and give them feedback. That's the better solution here, is use the base shit and give feedback, and they'll make the changes. Rather than just say, well, this isn't good, I don't like the way this looks, I'm going to go download another UI development kit from someone else, and boom, it's not fucking working anymore, and shit's breaking, and you're complaining about it.
Exactly what options to change, why to change them, and show you the difference that the next 10 to 30 minutes will make to your entire Midnight experience.
Don't forget, by the way, a lot of your favorite add-ons, while they're still available and you can download them, a lot of them are just janky now. Some of them are just not working the way they used to.
What you're looking at now is the new WoW UI with all of its default options. At first glance, it doesn't look that terrible, but when you try to use it, that's where all the problems come in.
Yeah, not the best.
And take a look at the timeline. It's over here at the side, right where most people put their party and raid frames.
True.
The boss warnings are at the very top, and they're in the wrong order. The critical boss warnings are the furthest away from where you're actually looking. Nameplates, for some reason, default to settings that make important things harder to see. And I genuinely can't understand why the damage meter is all the way up here.
Yeah, so I left it there. I think I'm going to move it, though. It was kind of like, it's far out of the way. And I kept asking you guys in chat, I was like, do people put their damage meters up here? Like, where did Blizzard get this layout from? Why is the damage meter in the top left corner? I couldn't figure it out, but I left it there. I'll probably end up moving it back to where I had it, which was like on my screen right now. It was just above the chat box from Twitch.
And that's only part of the problem. So let's fix everything.
I've never seen anyone put it up there ever.
Starting with the most important thing,
neither have I.
That is your nameplates. I'll admit,
name and shame
props
plates.
to Blizzard here. The new redesign isn't bad at all, but they've got a much better design buried in the options.
Yeah.
With blocky bars turned on, you can actually reliably read spell names. And then, in here, you can actually turn on cast target as well, and that means you'll see who's getting hit by an ability.
Oh, I gotta do
very
that.
important if, you know, it's your name up there. And while we're in here, basically just turn everything on. There's no real reason not to. The next problem to solve is threat, and normally it's not shown at all, but they have put a few options in here, and two of them are unfortunately bad.
Yeah, so I had problems with this because it was tripping me out. Because, you know, I was used to like details Plater, where it would you know, change to red when I have threat. I tank, right? So I need to know when the hell I have threat. This was like opposite, where it was like it started red and it stayed red. And if I lost threat, it would turn to orange. So the color change was occurring not if I had threat, but if I lost the threat, which was it was like reverse of what I'm used to, which is weird because Blizzard is aware of Plater and all these add-ons that people were using previously. So why the hell they would decide to flip the usual way of doing things, I have no freaking idea.
Progressive looks
I'm gonna have to
nice
get
at
used to
first,
it.
but in reality, it is hugely distracting. The flash is a lot more simple, but it's way too aggressive. However, the threat color option mimics most Plater setups, and it's a favorite for a good reason. You flick it on, and you can just tell what's going on at a glance. Finally, I have a visual trick. So the debuffs sit too low, and they actually cut off the border. Now, this won't help your gameplay much, but take a look at this. Moving the debuff padding from 0 to 2 stops all of these lines from intersecting. And in doing so, it just makes it look so much more visually clean. In the grand scheme of things, these are small changes, but now's the perfect time to just go and do them so you'll never have to worry again.
True.
And
Set
that
it, forget it.
absolutely goes for what's next.
Boss mods hold
is
the
the
mods.
official name for what we used to call the ability timeline. And it's probably the biggest game changer of anything in Midnight.
Yeah, I like this thing a lot. And so I was a guy who didn't have a lot of add-ons. I always told you guys this. I played mostly without them. So I never had a boss timer ticker for abilities about to hit. I just like learned the fight, and then I figured I would know when something's about to happen. Now I've got this. This is useful. What the hell? Now I see why people downloaded the add-on to be able to do this shit, but now Blizzard put it in the game, so I don't have to download the add-on. But this was actually pretty nice yesterday, seeing this thing.
Right. It means that without any add-ons installed, you can see exactly what a boss is going to do and when. There's only a small issue, and that's that the defaults Blizzard give you just leave you flying blind. In their base profile, it's way over here on the left, which is where almost everyone who plays the game will be moving their party and raid frames. So that's got to go. And even Blizzard seemed to agree because on the Midnight Beta, it's actually got a different default location, which is up here at the top, scrolling sideways. That's a lot better, but it's a massive trap. Can you spot the difference here? When it's horizontal, there's a missing option where, for some reason, you can't show the spell names.
Oh.
That's insane. So if you want it that way, you just have to learn to recognize the icons. Let's not do that. I would suggest that you stick it over here to the right and then turn on the names. But that's not all. Next on our list is size. For some reason, it's insanely tall, which you can fix by just dropping the overall size. But when you do that,
that shrinks everything,
icons are way too small. But then you
there
can go and fix that by just making the icons bigger.
Got it.
Sounds a little bit silly, but just take a look at this A-B comparison. The shorter version is a hell of a lot easier in the eyes and the screen space.
Yeah, I agree.
But there are other settings you should know about. Definitely, I recommend you keep the tooltips turned on because doing so gives you an incredible power. If you don't know what an upcoming ability is, you can just hover over it. And I'm not kidding when I say this type of thing's been a lifesaver when playing the beta. Now, as for the other settings in the menu, you've got a bit of a choice to make. There's a lot here, but it just boils down to the type of player you are. Do you want to know everything that's going on, or do you just want to know what's going to hit you? So if you want...
As a tank, I'll take the latter. Yeah, I just want to know what's going to hit me. I don't give a shit about everything else.
To laser focus on yourself, tick this option. You'll cut out all of the noise and only get the cooldowns that matter to you. You won't get healer or tank problems cluttering up your screen. Now, if you're more of a budding raid leader or you're a healer who just needs to know everything, then obviously keep...
Actually, I probably do got to know more than that to be a good tank. Now, do I want to be a good tank? That's the question.
That setting unticked. And no matter what kind of player you are, turning these icon options on will help you. And that's because instead of having to remember every spell perfectly, the icon will give you a context clue. All right, we're almost done with this bit, but there is one more thing, and that is our text warnings. Again, I don't know what Blizzard were thinking with these defaults. I don't remember the last time I looked to the top of my monitor during a fight.
Yeah, that's a crazy spot.
Put them in the wrong order. Of course, when you're in combat in World of Warcraft, you're going to be looking at the middle of your screen, and with the default setting, the critical warning is the furthest away from the middle of the screen. What you should do is make it be the closest of them, and of course be near to where your eye is naturally sitting.
Yeah, I noticed that yesterday when I was running the dungeon. For some reason, the boss, well, now I know the reason. The boss warning is just at the very top of the screen. It's hard to see without looking away from combat.
Bring them all down. It's kind of silly we have to do that, but I've got a bit of good news for you, and that's that these have actually got tooltip options as well, which you may find extremely useful. Now, going into the settings, there's another crucial text box. Tick this, and the game will alert you only when you're being targeted by something. And what that'll give you is
that's
zero
great.
noise, pure signal.
Guys, can you do me a favor and remember all this? I'm not going to remember all this. Shit, I got to go in the game and I want to like literally do it while I'm watching this video right now. I got to remember hide when not targeted.
And an ability to just focus and react much faster. Again, if you're a healer or a raid utility type, you should probably ignore this, but if you're the selfish DPS player that most of us are, it's a nice, honestly, bit of a game changer. The days of a default DBM full screen flashing every mechanic, even when they don't matter to you, will basically be over. So that's that solved, but we've a lot of other things to change yet. The party and raid frame changes are a little understated, and when you see what I'm going to show you, it'll be obvious that this is unfinished.
I like the party frames yesterday.
Perhaps plan to give these a more proper overhaul in the future, but thankfully, there are way more changes under the hood than are really visible at first glance. Changes like these options. Obviously, this is no big add-on like Cell, but you finally have some control over what's in your screen. The defaults, naturally, will show everything, so tanks or healers, you'll probably want to make sure that you can see all that stuff. But again, if you're a selfish DPS, you can turn off debuffs entirely. If you can't see it, basically, it means it's not your problem. But if you're only a little selfish, you can tick this instead. And that's because with this ticked, whenever you see a debuff,
dispellable
you
debuffs,
know
nice.
that someone can do something about it. Now, next, I want you to go down here and set this to dispellable by me. And when you do that, it'll get even more simple. It'll mean that if someone has an icon, it's because you can actually help them. Now, I know that a lot of healers won't be satisfied with the level of customization here, but for the majority of players, it's a drastic improvement over what we've currently got. And it's especially the case if you play around with the new edit mode variants. And this is what I mean when I call these unfinished. We've got three options in edit mode. There's Legacy, which is how it is today. Then there is Buff or Debuff Focused. If you don't know what these changes are doing, then, yeah, good. Me neither. At least not at first glance. I was going to say, am I supposed to know what's going on there? Actually do. Buff Focus puts the buffs up here, and that leaves room for more icons across a single row at the top. Debuff Focus leaves that room for debuffs instead, but on the other side. So it's probably something designed for PvP, where you'll be having more debuffs to worry about. Though I'll certainly say it makes playing something like a Resto Druid a bit difficult, because your buffs don't have as much space to breathe. Honestly, if I had to pick one, I would actually pick Legacy. Let me explain why. On the other two, the name is in the middle, which looks absolutely horrible whenever there's a defensive active or whenever you show power bars. And Legacy has got another surprising benefit. The Dispel indicator and the buffs are both at the right side, which basically just makes it easy to read at a glance. So that's unit frames. Honestly, I'm not sure what Blizzard thought this would accomplish. It definitely needs more work. And I think a lot of people
I'm sure they'll patch more into it.
Trying to find some sort of raid frame add-on to improve this situation. But hey, that's 2 out of 3.
I'm just gonna roll. I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna keep using it. I'm gonna use the raid frames. I'm gonna use the party frames. I'm not downloading any add-ons. We're raw dogging it. I said it, and I'm gonna stick to it.
You covered actually being quite good. Surely the next one will also be good.
No eyes for
Blizzard,
detail.
I just want to talk. Why is the damage meter off by default? And better yet, why the hell is it up here? 99% of UI screenshots I've seen in the past 20 years have had it down here. That's all a bit weird. And unfortunately, there aren't many options worth talking about here. All you can do is change how it looks, and the default is sadly by far the best. That being said, there are a few things that you can do that will actually make it look much better. First, obviously move it somewhere reasonable. Bottom right is the usual spot for a good reason. Next, it's far too wide by default, and you can bring it all the way down to the minimum width and still read everything just fine. Then that leaves just one problem, and that's that the bars are too short and that the text overlaps. And it's things like this that make me wonder who decides the defaults at Blizzard. Because it feels like a bunch of engineers built features.
So you saying bottom right, you animal. That's where I had it, though. That's where I had it. And then yesterday, Blizzard moved everything for damage meters up to the top left. And I was like, remember, I'm asking you, I'm like, why did they pick the top left? Do people do this and I didn't know? Has this been the way people have been doing it? And everyone's like, no, you had it in the right spot, bottom right. I don't know who the hell decided top left was the right way to do it. Somebody at Blizzard's trolling us. I think that's what's going on.
The next bit where the designers come in and set really good defaults just hasn't really happened. So to fix the overlapping text, Nightmare just bring the bar height up about 4 notches. And I mean, look at this. It is so much better because the text actually fits inside the bar. Problem solved. Mostly. Because this still does need plenty of work, but at least it serves a bit of a purpose. Which is rather unlike the last new UI feature.
Oh yeah, this
is the external defensives frame, which funnily enough shows us our external defensives. Sadly though, it's extremely awkward and has next to no options. Basically just stick it near your character portrait or maybe near your cooldown manager, and just forget about it. Now, if you're a hardcore tank, you will be happy to have this feature, but
yeah, I thought it was good.
It feels rather tacked on, and I don't have much to say about it. Most players won't even need this because major defensives are just shown in the raid frames, so you'll be able to see Ironbark or whatever's going on there. As for this, we'll just need to see if it gets updates in perhaps patch 12.05. But for now, here it is, and you have an array of options such as moving it about the place.
But what about add-ons? I said it earlier today. I need an aggro call-out would be nice. It would be. Just to have it, you know, as a reminder, because I get distracted with stream sometimes when I'm tanking.
In the room, then.
I want that.
I'll be totally honest with you, this really is how I plan to play the Midnight expansion. There are already add-ons that drastically customize the UI, and in some ways, that's much better. Many Mythic Raiders have spent the last months rebuilding their live UI with different add-ons to basically look the same. But I think most of us can avoid that. So for now,
I'm not going to do it.
This is where I'm going to start.
My game runs smoother. I'm telling you, like, if you didn't try it yesterday, just give it a go. Try disabling all your add-ons and just play for a little bit without it. And I swear the game runs more smoothly. Like, I don't think people realize, especially weak auras. Oh my God, what those were doing during boss fights and shit. But add-ons create a lot of like lag in your PCs, a lot of computational shit going on. And I think it just like drags the game down a little bit.
And I think Ellesmere said it best.
Don't tell me what to do.
It's the perfect opportunity to start fresh with your WoW UI and build up slowly.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I think the base UI has improved so much that 99% of players won't need
you can play with it.
UI add-ons at all. It'll just be a case of want, or do you want to customize the visuals? And that's where I'll be using add-ons. So for today, take what you've learned in this video and fix up the base UI so you've got a really good starting point. And then, over the next few days on this channel, we'll dive deep into the available add-ons, and we'll bring you the ones that we think are worth bothering you with. So keep an eye out for that coming soon, and if you want to spend your pre-patch time perhaps getting to know some of the revamped classes and specs, you can check out our Winners and Losers of Midnight series. It'll cover, apart from healers, which we didn't quite get to, everything, and most importantly, in an accessible manner, so that even if you're not a big expert in a class or a spec, you'll get a good understanding of how it's shaping.
Nice. Yeah, overall I agree with a lot with what Bellular said, including his final statement there where he was like, guys, don't download all the add-ons. Just try it. Just try it. Build a good foundation for yourself to play this game without add-ons. And then, you know, give feedback and let it build. Let it get better and better, because it is going to get better and better. The truth is, Blizzard's not just going to sit there and let a dicked around UI stay the way it is. So it'll get fixed. They'll continue to add features, and as they do, it'll continue to mean you don't need add-ons to play this game. Give it a try. See how you like it. Overall, nice video here from Bellular.